Hey everybody, it's Joel from Talking Toys. Today we're doing a figure review of Marvel Legends series New Year Vows from the Amazing Spider-Man with Marvel Spinneret and Spider-Man himself. So sit back, relax, and let's swing into this figure review. Alright, we're going to start this review off by taking a look at the box. I like this box, I like the design. I would have preferred more if we had the see-through plastic so we could have looked at the figures before picking them up. But it does showcase the artwork by Ryan Stegman, whom I think is brilliant, especially when it comes to drawing a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. His cover art for a lot of the Spider-Man comic books as of recently, the variants and stuff. Spot on, great work. We have the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows at the bottom here. We've got Hasbro's logo, and of course it's for ages 4 and up. Marvel Legends, Marvel Spinneret, Spider-Man, and then product shots of the figures. On the top of the box, we have 60 Amazing Years Spider-Man. On the bottom of the box, we just have Spider-Man hanging out there with some legal mumbo-jumbo. On this side, we've got, again, product shot for Spinneret and Spider-Man, and then more obligatory product shots. And then on this side, we've got Ryan Stegman's artwork again. For me, it was a toss-up to see which figure I actually wanted to do the review on first. But since, you know, the main character is Spider-Man, let's just go ahead and knock Spider-Man out of the way here. So as you can see, I've got some pretty good articulation on this figure. All right, we're going to go ahead and straighten up Spider-Man here and get a good look at how tall he actually is and take a look at his design and overall articulation. Some of the joints on here are still a little stiff for me, but we will take care of that here in just a sec. Well, we won't take care of the stiff joints. We'll just try to get him standing up as best as possible. So, standing up, we've got him here, and he's in his suit design from Renew Your Vows. Very elegant, very nice. I think they did a marvelous job on this particular figure, Buck. If I had to have one complaint, and I don't know that it's going to really show up on camera, there's a little bit of a blemish here in his eye, but overall, very nicely done. We do definitely get an up and down movement, side to side for his head. You can spin it in full 360. Of course, it's on a ball joint, and you can pull the head off because you get a second head. And we'll look at that in just a second. On his shoulders, you can get his arms up this high. You got some bicep swivel. You can bring the arms up for a full 360. So even though his arms will only go this high with the top part of his shoulder, they obviously can go much higher when you spin them around. This particular figure does have extra shoulder movement here, so you can bring the arms forward or you can bring them back a little bit further for your posing needs. We've got a double jointed elbow, and then we've got the hands. You can spin them around. This set, or this hand here, you can get the up and down movement, which is exactly what you can do with this hand over here too, because you can pose him for spinning or shooting his web that way. You have upper chest, upper torso articulation. You can bring him back and forward. And then you've got lower torso ab crunch, so you can really get him hunched in. He's known for his agility and his ability to kind of contort his body while he's swinging in the air. This figure, this design, will definitely accent that, and that's one of the things I really like about it. His hips do come up and down. They go all the way out that far. But if you putz with the hips a little bit and turn them up, you can kind of start to arrange something. Whether or not it's going to look right is a whole other option. But if you like to try to get some of that dynamic posing, I think you got enough playroom with the hips that you can do that. We've got the thigh swivel. We've got double jointed knee on both sides. You've got the ankle tilt as well and a toe tilt. But you can also turn the ankle side to side. So not only do you get front and back, you get side to side for your posing needs. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other accessories. So while you have this open hand piece here, you've got one for his right hand side as well. As a replacement, we've got a fist. Actually, we've got two fists, one for each side. And then, of course, he has this web shooting hand here, we've got one for the left-hand side as well. We also get a Peter Parker head. Let's see if I can bring this in. We also get Peter Parker's head, which is a really nice head sculpt, I think, at this point. It looks really good. Kind of feels true to the comic book. The head itself, you can just swap it out. So you have a, and then just pop it on. So you've got that. And then if you want to change his hands out, of course, they just pull out here, and then we can just put a couple fists on there. And then we can have Spider-Man without his mask on, just like that. So nice interchangeability, great play, wonderful amount of posing options that you get with this because of all the articulation with the figure. It stands roughly about that 6-inch height for this particular line. So definitely was one of my favorites so far for Spider-Man. It's a great piece from this set. I absolutely love it. I love all the articulation, all the options for posability. If this is the only figure that comes out looking good from this set, I'm still happy with the purchase. Okay, next up we have Spinneret here. So we've still got her posed out. This, of course, is Mary Jane. And if that was a spoiler for you guys, I'm really, really sorry. But I think it was pretty obvious it was going to be Mary Jane either way. And this is her Spider-Man suit, or Spider-Woman suit, as it were. Go ahead and get her stood up so we can take a better look at her. Let's move this figure stand out of the way. Because luck would have it, the only figure stand I had was a Cobra for the Baroness figure. But I needed something to keep her standing up. All right, so get a better look. As you can see, she comes with an open hand. She does have some hand options as well, much like Spider-Man and Peter Parker does. But let's go ahead and take a look from the top down. So far we've got her head. Go ahead and take a look at that design there. All right, and the head, of course, spins a full 360. We get some up and down. There is a joint here, right there, to move the head a little bit forward. But every time I try to move it, I feel like I'm about to break the figure. So I don't play with it at all to see if I can get some other articulation out of it. We have the shoulders. Of course, the shoulders do go all the way up, so you can get a proper T-pose here. We bring them down, and she gets to spin them a full 360. Bicep turn, double jointed elbow, and then, of course, the wrist. So you can spin it and bend her hand forward and back. Same on this side as well. We have upper torso as far as articulation goes. So you get a nice like back bend, but you can't really crunch her forward as a result. The thing I dislike about this figure is that there's no ab crunch for her. And I don't know if it's just something because of the way the buck was made for this particular figure, why that is, but it definitely limits how much articulation I can get out of this figure or dynamic posing. So that was my one drawback from this figure. But going forward, we have the hips. Now her hips can only go out this far in their normal position. You can bring them out or bring them up like that. And the only really kind of, so it's the only reason why these are going out is because they're literally moving back and going sideways because of the mold for the rear end here, for the butt. And then there's a lot of resistance through this part of her hip as well. I think if that can be reduced, you might be able to get a little bit more action out of her hips. Yeah. So the next thing, we've got the thigh turn. And then we've got double jointed knees. We've got up and down or forward and back movement, and a little bit of side to side for the ankles. And that covers her articulation. Now, let's see if we can stand her up here. So she does come with some extra accessories. The first thing we're going to look at, of course, is the head here from Mary Jane. Very nice. They were able to kind of get that blue to pop in her eyes. But then you have the hair. The hair is a little bit soft plastic, so you get to move it a little bit. but it's not so soft that you can pop it off. Of course, you got the joint. You can remove Spinneret's head as I shake everything and just pop this on. And with the head, you get about that kind of much movement out of it. And of course, we'll set her head right here. She does come with extra hands. So we got another open hand, much like on this one. We do have another web shooting hand as well. And we get 2 extra fists for all that bad guy punching action. And the hands just come off at the peg and just reinsert right there, just like that. And then we can have her getting ready to duke it out with the Rogue Gallery for Spider-Man. And I realize I said Rogue Gallery for Spider-Man, and Rogue Gallery is a DC term, but you're just gonna have to forgive me. Overall, good figure. I actually like this figure more with the head, with the Spinneret head, than I do with the Mary Jane head. And I think the idea is that I'm going to take this Mary Jane head and probably put it on a G.I. Joe if I can, just get a like a generic soldier character, female character. I am disappointed in the hips on this. I'm actually looking at a couple of tutorials to see if I can change the hips so I can get more clearance and movement. But overall, there are some poses I can kind of stretch this out with that at least work for me whenever I'm trying to do some pictures and stuff like that. All right, that's our review of Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Definitely a great set. If you find it, grab it. If you have it, awesome. That Spider-Man is probably one of the best figures I've seen as far as posability goes. I can't wait to see what other options are going to be available to me as I start putting out some photographs of the Spider-Man. Definitely give this a 9 out of 10 as far as grading goes, and it's all based on how great Spider-Man is. We'll see what we can do as far as making Spinneret a little bit more posable, but until that time, thanks for taking time out of your day to spend it with me while we talk about this set. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks again.